And so we have to ask ourselves as we think about this community, what do we want to be? How do we want to get there? And what are we willing to do in order to make it happen? And I think adaptability is something that we have to understand, that regardless of what we have done in the past, it's something that we're going to have to do more of in the future if we want to compete. In today's economy, we are living in one that really has no geographic boundaries. We're living in an economy that is all about the recruitment of talent and resources. And if you don't have the talent and if you don't have the resources, then you're falling behind. And so to me, that means a more inclusive economy. That means an opportunity economy that gives everybody the chance to really achieve their level of success in every way possible, however it may be measured. Some may measure it by the number of employees, some may measure it by your payroll, some may measure it by happiness. Whatever it is, how are we providing that from the government standpoint? What are we doing to really put our finger on the scale to make sure that those folks who talk about what Monroe Street used to be prior to integration here in Montgomery, Alabama returns, where you had thriving minority and black businesses in this community? At the end of the day, what people really want to see is they want to see change. And they want to see this leadership and this community do some things differently. It's not just political. It's across the board change and adaptation to where we are. And I believe that we can make that change together. I think that we can do those things because I think that all of us want to compete, and I believe all of us like to win. And I believe all of us believe that if we're willing to do those small things, if we're willing to put aside our fear and believe in the faith that we talk about and show it and act on it, then we'll challenge some of these things that we've been talking about for a number of years. The future of this community is not going to be decided by one election. It's not going to be decided by one man or one woman. It's not going to be decided by one body of government or one body of business. It's going to be decided by those of us in this room, the leaders in this community, the people who many in your organizations or your companies or your firms entrust to make sound decisions every day. Can we make those on a macro level from the standpoint of creating a better Montgomery? I think we have to understand that in this economy that we're in this community that we're in, it's going to be important for us to work together to make strong, decisive decisions and be willing to be uncomfortable. Be willing to be uncomfortable in our discussions, but more importantly, be willing to be uncomfortable in our actions. I think that we owe it to the people in this community. I think we owe it to those who were writing this letter 50 years ago, and I think we owe it to those who will come behind us to make the tough choices now and to make sure that we're not just celebrating what history we've made because of an election or what history we've made just because of our age, but we're making the history because of our choices, the results, and the impacts they have on the lives of people who live in Montgomery and the lives of people who live in the river region. I hope that you'll work with me on this over these next 4 years. I look forward to talking with you a lot more about some of the things that I think we can do together, because I'm convinced, I am ultimately convinced that if we work together, if we're willing to come out of our silos, if we're willing to come out of our corners of comfort, I am ultimately convinced that we can accomplish the greatest things that have been discussed, that have been thought about and talked about and not done over the last 50 years, and we can do that in these next coming years. Thank you so much for your support, and thank you for all that you do for Montgomery.